Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating framework. It's designed to help us find meaning and stability in a modern world that, honestly, can often leave us feeling a bit empty. We live in this era where a lot of the old structures have completely shifted, leaving so many of us searching for a really solid foundation. Let's get right into it.
We're going to be systematically breaking down the core philosophy and the first 4 actionable rules from Jordan B. Peterson's multi-million copy bestseller, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. This text pulls from history, neuroscience, and psychology to tackle a deeply fundamental human craving, our need for structure. It's a deep dive into exactly why we act the way we do and how we can take individual responsibility to actually make things better.
So Peterson sets the stage by pointing out that society often swings wildly between 2 extremes. On one hand, you've got relativism, the idea that there's no universal truth and absolutely everything is subjective. But if you won't take a stand on anything, your life just becomes totally directionless. Then, on the completely opposite extreme, you have ideologues. These are the folks who impose their rigid beliefs on everyone else in a really authoritarian way. The author proposes a middle path here, just adopting good, solid rules that reduce unnecessary human suffering and help us reach our goals.
And this brings us to a huge paradox of human nature, brilliantly captured in the text by Dr. Norman Doidge. Alongside our wish to be free of rules, we all search for structure. It's so true, right? Humans inherently dislike restraint. We always push back against authority. But at the exact same time, we desperately crave the shared beliefs and structures that let us cooperate and essentially tame an unpredictable world. We actually need those boundaries to experience real freedom.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We'll unpack the antidote to chaos and the dominance hierarchy, and then we'll jump into the micro level with the first 4 rules. Fix your posture, care for yourself, choose friends wisely, and improve your game. Let's start with Section 1, the antidote to chaos. Think of chaos as the unexplored territory. It is the domain of ignorance itself. Chaos is what hits you when you're betrayed or when some disaster strikes and your whole world completely collapses into emotional turmoil. It represents pure instability and uncertainty. But, and this is a really crucial point, chaos is also the domain of potential and freedom. It is literally where you go to grow.
On the flip side, we have order. This is the explored territory. It's the place where everything goes exactly according to plan. Order gives us structure, stability, and that comforting sense of certainty through familiar environments and routines. But you have to be careful, because when taken to the extreme, order can quickly become restrictive and deeply oppressive.
So the big takeaway here is that life requires a really delicate balance of both. Chaos and order have to coexist. The text argues that true meaning is found by keeping one foot securely in order, that's the stuff you've mastered and understand, and placing the other foot straight into chaos, the things you are actively exploring and trying to figure out. We need the security of the known right alongside the challenges of the unknown to truly mature. Moving right along to Section 2, the dominance hierarchy.
Okay, this is fascinating. To understand this concept, the author looks at a rather unexpected biological cousin, the lobster. Lobsters are constantly battling for dominance to get access to scarce resources. During a fight, the dominant lobsters actually command higher serotonin levels. This chemical boost lets them project way more confidence, maintain a larger posture, and literally fight longer. Sometimes, the alpha wins without throwing a single punch. And after the clash, the loser's brain chemistry physically alters, so they avoid future conflict, while the victor gets an even bigger serotonin boost. It's a biological, positive feedback loop for survival.
Now, why does a lobster's brain chemistry matter to us? Well, because humans possess a very similar primordial calculator deep inside our own brains. We have an innate dominance detector. How we perceive our own social and economic status directly dictates our serotonin levels. If you have strong self-esteem, you broadcast confidence, command respect, and your serotonin spikes, making you more resilient. But if you see yourself as low status, the exact opposite happens. Your own perception literally alters your biological reality.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, Rule 1, Fix your posture.
Building on that biology, Peterson argues to stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. Standing up straight isn't just about good ergonomics. It is a profound psychological signal. It tells yourself, and literally everyone around you, that you are willingly facing reality and stepping up to the plate to build a meaningful life. If you're feeling down or defeated, for whatever reason, you have to actively break the cycle physically. You've got to stop slouching, because slouching just screams defeat and unconsciously prompts others to treat you poorly. Instead, actively fix your posture. Push those shoulders back, speak up, make eye contact. By doing this, you're actually tricking your own neurochemistry into feeling better, which in turn gets others to treat you with respect, sparking a virtuous upward cycle. It's a real game changer.
Let's look at Section 4. Rule 2. Care for yourself.
I want you to ask yourself this question from the source material. Why are we so prone to self-sabotage? Think about it. We will happily drop hundreds of dollars on specialized diets and meds for our pets, but when we get sick, we can barely be bothered to pick up our own prescriptions. Why on earth are we better at taking care of our dogs and cats than we are at caring for ourselves?
The author traces this bizarre behavior back to the concept of original sin. We are hyper-aware of our own personal failings, so deep down we kind of secretly loathe ourselves. But when we look at our pets or young children, we see them as completely faultless and innocent. Therefore, we decide they are entirely deserving of the care that we actively withhold from ourselves. To fight back against that deeply rooted self-loathing, you have to step back and objectively view yourself as a person you are responsible for helping. The rule states, you should take care of, help, and be good to yourself the same way you would take care of, help, and be good to someone you loved and valued. Practically, this means getting incredibly clear on your priorities, setting actual goals, and building discipline by keeping the promises you make to yourself.
Moving on to Section 5. Rule 3. Choose friends wisely.
We often surround ourselves with negative people who just drag us down, and we usually do it under the false guise of rescuing them. But let's be honest with ourselves, our motives aren't always that altruistic. Sometimes we do it just to feel virtuous, or maybe to distract ourselves from fixing our own problems. The hard truth is, you cannot help people who aren't willing to help themselves. Real friendship is not about blind loyalty to a sinking ship. True friendship requires reciprocity. It's a mutual desire to push each other upward to greater heights.
Finally, Section 6. Rule 4. Improve your game.
Because we live in such a populous, hyper-connected era, we're constantly facing a really harsh reality. The quote reads, "No matter how good you are at something, there is someone out there who makes you look incompetent. There is literally always going to be someone wealthier, better looking, or more successful on your feed. Because of this, judging your own worth against the achievements of strangers is a totally rigged game that only breeds a miserable sense of inferiority."
So don't play that rigged game. The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Treat life as a set of different games and find the ones that actually align with your unique strengths and values. From there, just take baby steps. Set small, highly achievable goals. Reward yourself when you hit them. And then let those marginal, daily gains compound over time. It is entirely about raising your own baseline, one step at a time.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, incredibly provocative question from the source material. Think about this. What small thing could you do that you would actually do to make life a little better today? Try taking responsibility for that one small fix and just watch how it transforms your world. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep exploring.